Let me tell you something, there are some places where you can't afford to waste your energy. Life's too short, and your energy, your focus is too valuable. So I'm going to give you 5 places where you need to stop pouring yourself into, places where you're only giving away your strength. First, negative thoughts. It's easy to let fear and doubt creep in, but spending time in that space, it drains you. It paralyzes you. You can't get up and move forward if your mind is weighed down by the what ifs and I can't. Your energy is better spent on possibilities, not problems. Negative thoughts are like anchors tied to your potential. They keep you stuck, weigh you down, and prevent you from moving forward. Let's break it down. When you focus on fear, doubts, or insecurities, you're feeding a mental cycle that depletes your energy. Your brain is like a muscle. What you train it to do, it will repeat. So if you constantly let negative thoughts dominate your mind, you're training yourself to see obstacles, not opportunities. Think about this. Every moment spent thinking about what could go wrong, or what you're afraid to face, is time and mental energy you could be using to find solutions. Negative thinking isn't just emotional, it's chemical. When your brain is stuck in fear or worry, it releases stress hormones like cortisol, which affects your focus, decision-making, and even your physical health. The key is to recognize when those negative thoughts start creeping in. You've got to interrupt that pattern. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? If it's the latter, you need to replace it with something constructive. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's essential. Just like you wouldn't put junk food into your body if you want to stay healthy, you shouldn't allow junk thoughts to consume your mind if you want to grow. The most successful people understand that your mindset shapes your reality. If you think small, you stay small. If you let fear run your life, you'll never take the risks needed to grow. You need to reprogram how you approach challenges. Instead of thinking, I can't, switch it to how can I? That simple shift in perspective opens up your mind to possibilities instead of limitations. So when negative thoughts start to cloud your judgment, remember you have the power to change that narrative. But it starts with taking control of your mental energy and redirecting it toward thoughts that push you forward, not hold you back. Toxic people are like energy vampires. They drain your mental, emotional, and even physical energy without you realizing it. These are the individuals who thrive on drama, negativity, and chaos. They pull you into their problems, their complaints, and their pessimism, which in turn disrupts your focus and peace of mind. Understanding how they affect you is crucial to protecting your energy and maintaining a healthy environment for your personal growth. Toxic people can take many forms. They might be the constant critic, always finding flaws in everything you do. Or they could be the person who always has a crisis and expects you to solve it, leaving you feeling emotionally exhausted. Sometimes they disguise themselves as well-meaning friends or family members, but their actions speak louder than their words. They constantly dump their negativity on you, bringing you down with them. Engaging with toxic people has real psychological and emotional consequences. When you surround yourself with individuals who are constantly negative, your brain starts to mirror that negativity. It's a phenomenon called emotional contagion. We absorb the emotions of those around us. Over time, their negativity can shape your thoughts, your attitude, and your energy levels, leading you to feel stressed, anxious, or even depressed. From an educational standpoint, this ties into the concept of boundaries. Establishing healthy boundaries with people who drain you is not about being rude or uncaring. It's about self-preservation. Boundaries are essential for managing your energy. You need to learn to say no without feeling guilty. If someone consistently brings negativity into your life, you have the right to distance yourself from that influence. This doesn't mean cutting everyone off, but it does mean recognizing who adds value to your life and who tower. The more time you spend around toxic people, the more you dilute your own ability to focus on your goals and personal growth. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it needs the right environment to function at its best. Surrounding yourself with supportive, positive individuals creates a space where you can thrive, where your energy is protected and nurtured. Dwelling on past mistakes is like trying to drive forward while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. You're bound to crash. Mistakes are a natural part of life, an inevitable result of learning and growth. Yet, Many people spend too much time stuck in regret, replaying scenarios in their minds, wondering how things could have been different. This mental fixation on the past not only wastes energy but also stifles progress. Instead of moving forward, you remain anchored to what's already happened, unable to fully embrace new opportunities. From a psychological perspective, dwelling on mistakes can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and inadequacy. These emotions activate stress responses in the brain, keeping you in a heightened state of anxiety. This state affects your ability to think clearly, make decisions, and be creative. When you're trapped in a loop of regret, your brain uses its energy to relive the past instead of focusing on solutions or new strategies for success. Educationally, we can connect this to the concept of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. A growth mindset embraces mistakes as learning experiences. It says, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? On the other hand, a fixed mindset interprets mistakes as failures and often gets stuck there, unable to see past the error. Those with a fixed mindset are more likely to dwell on their mistakes, which prevents them from seeing the potential for growth and improvement. It's important to shift your perspective on mistakes. Instead of viewing them as final, irreversible failures, see them as stepping stones. Every mistake provides feedback. Whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal goals, each misstep gives you valuable information about what doesn't work and how you can adjust your approach moving forward. When you reframe mistakes this way, you take the power back. The energy that was once wasted on regret can now be channeled into constructive reflection and action. The real key here is self-compassion. Beating yourself up over past mistakes does nothing to change them. Instead, practicing self-compassion helps you process the mistake, learn from it, and let go of the emotional baggage that comes with it. This allows your energy to flow toward what you can control, your future actions, not past missteps. Worrying about things you can't control is one of the most significant ways to waste your energy. The truth is, life is full of uncertainties. Things happen that are beyond your influence, and no amount of worrying will change that. When you focus on uncontrollable situations, you're directing your mental and emotional energy toward a dead end. This kind of thinking not only exhausts you, but also prevents you from taking meaningful action in areas where you do have control. From a psychological standpoint, constantly worrying about things beyond your control triggers chronic stress. Your brain interprets this stress as a threat, which activates your fight or flight response. This response is designed for short-term dangers, but when it's sustained over time, it can lead to burnout, anxiety, and even physical health problems like high blood pressure or weakened immunity. Worry becomes a mental habit, consuming your cognitive resources, making it harder to concentrate or solve real problems effectively. Educationally, this concept connects to the circle of influence and circle of concern, a framework popularized by Stephen Covey. The circle of concern includes everything you worry about: global events, other people's behavior, outcomes of uncertain situations. The circle of influence, on the other hand, contains the things you can actually impact: your actions, decisions, and mindset. The more energy you spend in your circle of influence, the more empowered you become. Focusing on what you can control gives you agency, whereas dwelling on what's outside of your influence leaves you feeling powerless. Another important aspect of this is emotional regulation. When you accept that some things are beyond your control, you reduce emotional turbulence. It doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend everything's fine, but it does mean that you shift your energy toward constructive action. For example, instead of worrying about how others will react to a decision you make, focus on making the best decision you can with the information you have. You can't control other people's reactions, but you can control how prepared and informed you are when you make your choices. The key is to become more intentional with your mental energy. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect your energy toward things you can change: your attitude, your response, your effort. By doing this, you not only conserve your energy, but also increase your effectiveness in navigating the challenges you face. Seeking validation from others is a subtle yet pervasive way to waste your energy. When you constantly look for approval or acceptance from those around you, you give away your power. Your self-worth becomes dependent on external opinions, which are often unpredictable and inconsistent. This creates a cycle where you're chasing validation instead of building inner confidence. leaving you emotionally drained and unable to focus on your own path. From a psychological perspective, this need for validation is rooted in our basic human desire for acceptance. However, when it becomes excessive, it leads to anxiety and self-doubt. You begin to measure your success or happiness by how others perceive you, not by your own values or achievements. This reliance on external approval can cause you to second-guess yourself, making it harder to trust your instincts and make decisions with confidence. Over time, it erodes your self-esteem because you're constantly seeking confirmation that you're good enough from people who may never fully understand your goals or worth. Educationally, this ties into the concept of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. You're driven by personal growth, passion, or a sense of purpose. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, relies on external rewards like praise or recognition. When your focus is on gaining validation from others, you're operating from an extrinsic motivation mindset. The problem is, this type of motivation is fleeting. External approval can be withdrawn at any moment, leaving you feeling empty or insecure. Developing a strong sense of self requires shifting away from this need for external validation. This involves building self-awareness and recognizing your own strengths, values, and goals. The more you understand what drives you personally, the less you'll need external approval to feel fulfilled. You begin to trust your own judgment and embrace your unique path, regardless of how others view it. Additionally, seeking constant validation can lead to a form of people-pleasing, where you mold yourself to fit others' expectations rather than staying true to who you are. This dilutes your authenticity and drains your energy because you're trying to be everything to everyone, instead of focusing on what truly matters to you. When you stop chasing external approval and start validating yourself, you conserve energy and direct it toward your personal growth, your goals, and your vision. The key is to cultivate a mindset where your value is determined by your own standards, not by the ever-changing opinions of others. This shift allows you to stay grounded, confident, and focused on what truly matters, freeing you from the exhausting pursuit of external validation. Procrastination is a silent thief of time and energy. When you delay tasks, especially important ones, you create a cycle of stress, guilt, and pressure that drains your mental and emotional resources. At first glance, putting things off might seem harmless, even comfortable, but the long-term effects can be significant. By procrastinating, you're essentially postponing progress and success, often for the sake of short-term comfort or avoiding discomfort. This habit can easily become a barrier to personal growth and achievement. From a psychological standpoint, procrastination is often linked to deeper issues like fear of failure, perfectionism, or even low self-confidence. When you procrastinate, you're avoiding not just the task, but the emotional discomfort that comes with it. For example, you might delay starting a project because you fear it won't be perfect or that you'll make mistakes. This avoidance, however, only compounds the problem. The task doesn't go away. Instead, it looms larger, creating more anxiety as the deadline approaches. This stress consumes valuable mental energy that could have been used productively. Educationally, procrastination is related to the concept of time management, but more importantly, emotional regulation. While time management focuses on organizing tasks, emotional regulation involves managing the feelings that lead to procrastination in the first place. Research shows that procrastination isn't simply about laziness. It's about how well you manage the emotions tied to a task. Whether it's fear, boredom, or overwhelm, understanding these triggers allows you to develop strategies to overcome them. For instance, breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces can reduce feelings of overwhelm and make it easier to get started. Another important educational concept tied to procrastination is decision fatigue. The more you delay making decisions or taking action, the more mentally exhausted you become. Each time you put off a task, it stays in the back of your mind, adding to your cognitive load. This accumulation of unfinished tasks leads to what psychologists call open loops mental clutter that reduces your focus and productivity. The more open loops you have, the more drained you feel, making it even harder to get anything done. To overcome procrastination, it's essential to develop a mindset of discipline and consistency. One effective approach is the 2-minute rule. If a task will take less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This prevents small tasks from piling up and becoming overwhelming. For larger projects, setting clear, achievable goals and deadlines can help you maintain momentum. Additionally, developing self-awareness around your procrastination patterns, recognizing when and why you're putting things off, allows you to interrupt the cycle before it starts. Procrastination doesn't just waste time, it wastes potential. Every time you delay taking action, you're missing an opportunity to grow, improve, and achieve your goals. Overcoming procrastination requires shifting from a reactive mindset, where you're always responding to deadlines or pressure, to a proactive one, where you're in control of your time and energy.